So now we are going to, we have 50 minutes left in our day. Well, we are going to return to some more amazing videos on the work that so many of you are doing. After each video, there will be a short discussion. And so we will begin with Wagner, then St. Nicholas, and then we'll be ready for Red Hook, and last but certainly not least, Boulevard Houses. So let's start, please, with the Wagner video.
A good experience, but I had relatives. I lived in Wagner houses 20 plus years. My experience has been good and bad. Raising my children here has been a good experience, but I had relatives in here that has not been here in Wagner. I would say that here is a great place. It's where you make it, how you choose to live. Everybody wants to do more for the community. We want this community to be better, but some people don't know exactly how to go about making it that change. That's why this space was created. It's like a communal space for us to get together, both sides, and do different things, entrepreneurship, programs, socials, to try to bring this community together.
This green space, it was an eyesore. I mean, it was terrible. They sold drugs in here. We had rapes in here. It was a lot of bad going on in this development right here. But now we see the families coming out together, enjoying this space.
Before COVID, crime was down here in Wagner, and a lot of things started to change for the better. It's because we started bringing different things here, resources here. Overall, I think we are making a difference here. I thank the mayor for coming up with this program, empowering the residents to do more for themselves rather than sit around and waiting for somebody else to do it for them.
It's great that we got the court done, but we need more computer programs, literacy programs, ESL programs. So I think all our kids just want to play ball, and I'm very passionate about that. They have more going on than just the ball in their hand. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to do whatever I can do to help Wagner become a better place. Whether I move out again, come back, this is my life, this is my heart, Wagner's Wagner. I'm always going to be a part of this to make things better.
Wagner, we can't stop and we won't stop. I lived in Wagner houses.
Okay. That was beautiful. Ms. Starks and Ms. Cotton from Wagner. So now, as Ms. Raz said, we're going to be watching videos and then talking to the residents featured in those videos about the work that they've done, because to our last point about charting our work is very important, obviously, to memorialize that. But we want to understand the impetus behind why the residents did this, the work that they chose, and how we can move forward and push their vision forward for their community. So, Ms. Starks, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. So my first question to you is, what changes have you noticed in the space, in the green space, since the renovations were completed? And what do you think the benefits are of having this space?
Okay, the changes that I saw in the space since the renovation is more people are coming out and utilizing the space, because the space used to be underutilized. People walked there and curbed their dogs there at certain parts of the day. And the area was almost deserted, right? The place is also dark. But right now, we noticed that someone had their family reunion there. We had birthday celebrations out there. We had people playing music. The kids was out there dancing on the stage, right? So the space has become a communal space, and is bringing the community together.
So, I mean, I can imagine during this time of COVID in this past year, just understanding the landscape of Wagner, and you guys have the garden, so that's one of your open areas that was that's currently in use. You have the community center, but it's pretty small, and only so many folks can fit in there at the same time, and there's other age requirements and all of that. So having this green space, what has that meant to the community during the pandemic?
Okay, having it that we can have a lot of events on the outside, because we didn't have access to indoor spacing. We were able to do a lot of programming. We did a toy giveaway. We gave a book bag giveaway. We did a turkey and produce giveaway. We acknowledged all the graduates of Wagner from kindergarten to college. We acknowledged the kids that got their OSHA 30s. We all let them walk across the stage and gave them certificates. We did a memorial, right, for all the residents that lost families in during COVID. We did MAP did a Halloween movie night, right, for the whole development. We also did a resident-led Halloween party. We did a turkey and produce giveaway. We had 2 HRA one-shot deal events. We did a whole lot of stuff. We had a health van doing the COVID testing. We had over 100 residents being tested for COVID, right? We also did vision screening, right, from the center. We partnered with SCAM and Helen Keller Institute, and 65 residents got free glasses.
And that's really the beauty of these projects, because the funding that you all had to do that, we could have made a decision in our office about what we thought the money should be spent on, but you guys wanted a green space. And I know for some people they might think, what does that have to do with community safety? We could not have known that we would all be trapped in our homes for almost a year, and folks who don't have access to dedicated green space, what that would mean to their mental health, to their physical health, to their community health. So you guys were really visionary in wanting to create this space. And I think that it's just a testament to how much we should be listening to you about what you need. And so with that in mind, what support do you think that you need from the city to really take this to the next level? How do you envision the space further changing and transforming the Wagner community? And what do you all want to do next?
We need more funding. As I mentioned earlier, the renovations that we did, the dogs used to use that as a doggy park. So the dogs still don't know that it's a green space. They come and they tear up the grass, they dig holes. So we have an area that we have already identified the space for a doggy park that runs alongside of the green space, right? We already have the renderings for it, right? So all we need is the funding. We also need lighting. It's still very dark over there. So like 5 o'clock in the evening, you can't see, it's like being 10 o'clock at night over there. So we need additional lighting, right? We also need an NYPD camera over there. We having little vandalism, right? And we're finding stuff like drug stuff. We're finding nip bottles. We're finding panties, right? We're finding condoms. We're finding all kinds of stuff over there when we go out as stewards and clean up. So we need an NYPD camera, and we need that whole space lit up.
So you need lighting, and you need more opportunities for there to be eyes and engagement in the space.
And a doggy park, the doggy park.
You need a doggy park.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me again. It's great to see the things that you guys are doing at Wagner. We definitely celebrate and applaud you, and we'll continue to work with you to realize this vision. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Next, we have St. Nicholas houses, so we can show their video, and we have Ms. Radigan here to talk with us about it. Let's roll the St. Nicholas video.
You desperately, desperately need a place just specifically for the youth, because they hang out and there's no place to go. And I think they feel like nobody cares about us. So then they start getting into things that they should not get into. A youth center means we're pairing the youth for whatever they need to be the future leader. So we resident stakeholders said, okay, we're gonna focus on them. And instead of telling them, you need to do this, you need to do that, we asked them, and they said a technology-based knowledge. And we said, well, like what? Coding, maybe? And they said, yes.
That's all you're gonna see is the future, coding and buttons and wires and phones. So this right here is just putting them in position to really take over that. So that's why with that action plan, we want to figure out something we can create with that that's going to carry on for generations to come. We just want to use that to create the next something that's going to be recession-proof and keep lasting and lasting.
And that's what we're proud of, because we are talking to them and connecting and listening. We're all excited about helping the youth, because the youth is where it's at. And they need to also know that we care about them. We still, because they're the future.
We're gonna make stars in here. We're gonna make future coders. We're gonna make it here. We're gonna produce it here.
We need more of this. We need more to show other people who walk around the campus that we are multi-generational, multicultural community.
With that action plan, we need a budget. So we can have somewhere for the youth to go, we can have somewhere for the elderly to go. It's elderly and it's the youth. And then just bridging that gap, that takes something special, because you gotta listen to both sides. You know what I'm saying? You gotta listen to this side, you gotta listen to that side. So sometimes putting it together is gonna bump, but then when it connects, everything is good.
You desperately, desperately need a place just specifically for the youth.
All right, do we have Ms. Radigan? Mm-mm.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Good. I can't see you yet. But
Yeah.
technical difficulty. I want to talk about, first of all, St. Nick did an amazing coding program. I hope everybody got that from the video. And the young man in the video was very energized and excited about the opportunity that he had in this program. He talks about making stars and, you know, having that opportunity and how energizing it was to him, I think is an important takeaway from that video. So can you tell us more about how your team got young people involved in the selection and planning for this project and why that was important to you all?
Yes. Our resident stakeholders, we walked around St. Nicholas. At the time, we thought the youth will be out in the communities. We went to the plaza and we asked them, the youth, what would you like? What would you like to see at St. Nicholas? And they said we would like some kind of technology-based programming. And we asked for ideas. And one of the ideas was coding, because a lot of youth, you know, they're on computers and they're on their phone. So we went back and we discussed it. And we were actually able to get Silicon Harlem to do the classes for the coding. Then we created more flyers. We put them up in 14 buildings, 14 floors. We went doing outreach and we hand out flyers to let them know, the youth, that we are going to do a coding class. We're going to do several coding classes. We had 2 coding cohorts, 15 young people, and they learned basic web 101.
So I think you highlighted some important things that I don't want to go over folks' heads. So you guys wanted input from young people and you did not send an email and say, come to my program and sit there and wonder why people didn't come. No, you went out at a time that you knew they were going to be out in an area where you knew they were going to be at, to go engage them in their space.
Yes.
About what was interesting to them. And what was the reception from the young people?
Well, we had different, you know, they looked at us like, why are you here? We smiled, we waved, we had some pamphlets saying we're stakeholders and we would like to create something for you, the young people in the community. And they were like, oh, wow, okay, all right. So we would like some technology. You know, that was the first thing they said, something that's upcoming, like some upcoming technology. And we said, okay, so that's what we're going to do.
So the key takeaway for me there is that it's important to create things with youth as opposed to just for youth. So that's great. So what would you say as we wrap up? How can we make this a smoother process? What do you think might take this program or any other initiative that you all are interested in to the next level? What would you like to see happen next?
Well, first, we need to continue putting up flyers, maybe with a QR code so that they could apply, because they have already their phones. And we need to advertise more individually, probably on Facebook, and just let them know that there's ongoing coding classes or whatever events we're going to have in the plaza area. But once again, in order to do a lot of the work, we need more funding.
And where the money resides, where the money resides. Exactly. Thank you, Ms. Radigan, so much.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you.
Yes.
And next up, you did a great job. Next up, we have Miss Naisha from Red Hook. So we can roll the Red Hook video while we get Ms. McCoy up.
That we're working on is for a stewardship. It's not just cleaning. Stewardship is not just cleaning. It's about maintaining the area in which you live. It's about having pride in where you live, being invested in where you live, having stock in where you live.
For people who don't live here, I think they don't realize the connection between stewardship and other issues that happen. You know, especially like in the time of COVID, we have all this construction going on. Having people take that ownership of a neighborhood that has typically not been theirs to control is important because they need that voice. The small group of people that is based on community, to have that voice as a whole, it definitely gets things to progress.
The stewardship program works because, you know, we volunteer. We have a lot of kids like my son, they go out and they work in the farm. They bring in vegetables, and you don't want to come home, you got vegetables, you're already dirty, and you walk in your building smell and look worse than you do. I get why stewardship is important. And, you know, I understand the adult part of it. And then talking with my son, I understand the youth part of it. They're already judged, you know, being a teen, living in a project, and because of the color of their skin. So if you come home and you want to invite people in, they come into your building and it smells, you know, it's horrible. People don't want to touch. You already feel like that, even though your apartment may be spotless, but to get to your apartment, they got to see all of that first.
For those that are in place to make these actions happen and have a step-by-step process to it, what would you say to the person who has that type of ownership?
I feel like you need to lead, because here's the problem. You have the fundings, you have the money, you have the time, you have the experience, you have the education. But what you don't have is how to lead. You need to be able to come into a community that has never met you, has never seen you, has never even heard of you, and be able to uplift that community. Not just the adults, not the young adults, but the children. If you can't do that, then what is the point of having all of that wealth and all of that knowledge if you're not sharing it? We need y'all to come in here and say, okay, we're willing to invest. If the community is willing to invest, we're willing to invest the funds, because they're willing to invest the time and the energy, and they're willing to learn. So you need to come out here and you need to see what that is. You just need to come out. Don't be so. The thing is, people get money, they get education, they get wealth, and they forget where they come from. That's the problem. You didn't come from, you wasn't born, if you had to work hard to get your money and you up there now, you wasn't born that way. So remember what that was when you had to struggle. Because there's people still here, still struggling, but they still got their head up with pride, and they still walking through here every day thriving. Whether it's the littlest things or the biggest things, they're still doing it. So stop forgetting where you came from, and stop forgetting that you wasn't born that way. And even if you was born with a silver spoon, you still need to humble yourself. Because guess what? Everybody loses something in a blink of an eye, and you might be that one. So the action.
Miss McCoy preaching the word every time I see her, taking us all the way to the church. I see the chat going all the way up. Do we have Miss McCoy here? There we go. How you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm doing well. So let's talk about what we saw in that video. I don't want it to be lost on anybody that, everybody knows what we've endured, the stay-at-home orders and all of that. Red Hook is basically a construction zone right now because it's still going through Sandy recovery. So what does that mean? What has the physical condition of Red Hook meant for the people who live there, and how have you guys navigated that, just your team and the projects and the work that you want to get done, knowing the physical condition of the space?
I had to write it down because I wouldn't be able to remember it all at once, but we lost all of our physical space, our parks. We don't have anywhere to shade because they cut down 450 trees in Red Hook. We have more dirt piles and places to, and all of this was done during the pandemic. Families are cooped up together, which are now arguing with each other or fighting. Children's mental health has declined. Not to mention dealing with mold and lead at home as well. Um, the mayor needs, I feel like the mayor didn't understand. The mayor needs to know that essential workers are not construction workers. When he said that they were essential workers, this is what happened to Red Hook. We're shut in. The city was shut down, but Red Hook is shut in. We actually look like a concentration camp here, and our kids can't go outside and play. Elderly can't go outside because they have nowhere to go. None of us can go anywhere. We're stuck at home, and it causes a lot of issues. And then its construction site is also caused safety issues. We had a lot of problems with more, shootings that have been going on, but because we have no lighting, we lost lighting. A lot of the sites that used to have bright lights now are pitch black. Then we've had shoddy contractors. We lost water and power. There's still buildings in Red Hook that don't have gas, and that's because they didn't map out with NYCHA where all these pieces were so that they wouldn't hit these powers. So, right now, walking through this community is really depressing. Like looking out the window, I used to love looking out my window. It's depressing, but we navigated. We worked together as a team. We not just work together as a team, but we also involve our community. We knock on people's doors. We call them on the phone. We check and see how they doing. Sometimes we just have a conversation. We may not do an event, but to call somebody and just listen. Sometimes you just need to listen. That works wonders. Being a team, being able to listen to what other people is going through, because it's not just you going through it, they're going through it too. So being able to be that voice or that ear for them would it help better. Like we're able to add that extra layer to cover that layer of mental health for the adults and the kids in the community.
And so just thinking about everything you said, and, construction is not, everything's all dug up and, whatever right now. Tomorrow, we're not going to be able to get it back together. So no understanding that, what do you think that the powers that be, the folks who are controlling that situation, what do you want them to know and what do you want them to do?
What I want them to know that it's not right. Mm-hmm. It's not right. And what I want them to do, I want them to come and stand on the grounds with us. I want them to walk these grounds with us. I want them to come up in these apartments and sit in these apartments, spend a night in people's apartments so you can see the dust and the dirt that's supposed to be covered coming into people's homes. I want them to understand that the dirt that they're turning up is dirt from Sandy, and that there are a lot of chemicals and poisons in that dirt that's being put into people's homes. I want them to live the way we live so that they can see firsthand that what they did and what they decided was wrong. And it affected the entire community, not just elderly or some people. It affected the entire community.
Everyone.
Yes.
Ugh. These, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir, but these are real life human conditions that people, are dealing with. And so our decision making and the way we make our decisions really has to be guided by the people who live there. And we have to take your voice into consideration. It has to happen. And, this is just the summit. I think we've said it, but the summit is just the kickoff to the more to come. It's just a level setting. So we're all on the same page about what type of time MAP is on in 2021. And so, this is the beginning of the conversation. It's not the end. But I want to ask you about one of the dope things that came out of Red Hook in the past year and a half was the Switch Up the Bag program that you guys created. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You talked about economic opportunity in your video, economic development and investment of time and resources. Can you just tell us a little bit about Switch Up the Bag and how you see that possibly growing and maybe becoming something that folks at other MAP developments can do also to promote entrepreneurship?
Sure. Well, we didn't come up with Switch Up. We came up with the name, but the community came up with the idea of having someone come in and show. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in our community, and some of them work out of their homes. Some of them, they have an EIN number, but they don't have the money or the funding to actually start an LLC. So we started a 8-week program. We took the $30,000 and created an 8-week program named Switch Up the Bag. The program was designed and created to assist entrepreneurs reach stability by providing resources and the tools to help them create, maintain, and sustain their businesses. We covered the course of, hold on, let me just, so the program was the 8 weeks program, and we covered the course of their business plan, branding guidelines, websites, their logos. We paid for the course of their heads and photo product shots. We also helped them create business emails and phone numbers and business cards. We helped them structure their business. We helped them figure out how to deal with how to get contracts for their businesses, the best way to get funding for their companies. We also taught them bookkeeping, marketing and sales plan, and content planning. And then towards the end of all the 8 weeks, we did a winter market where our entrepreneurs were able to sell all of their wares, but not just sell their wares, but invite themselves to the community. You know, the community know them as, oh, that's so-and-so or that's so-and-so. But they came out and the community got to see them in a business light. They got to see them not just as an individual, but as a business. And they, I'm sorry, I'm trying to stay together.
You're doing a great job.
They were, the residents were able to, first off, they made profits for their business that they were able to put back into their business. The community loved it. It was such a beautiful event. We had other non-for-profits come out. We had small business, I forgot his name, Greg. He came out and talked about small business loans and for minorities and women. And we had over
Greg Bishop, that used to be the head of SBS, right?
Right. Yes. And we had we also had Lloyd who ran the program. We had over 200 residents that came out. We had kids from anywhere from 8 years old to elderly asking us, can we start this program again? I wish that we could, you know, until this day, I support them. I purchase from them all the time. A lot of my clothing come from them. So I'm always supporting. I just wish that we had more funding to continue the program on, because that's something that the community actually picked. They wanted it and we made it happen for them, and they continue until this day to thrive. And I just want to be able to provide that again for some more, because we wind up seeing younger kids with ideas that it was just so amazing to see little kids think about starting their own LLCs. And that, you know, that's what we want. We want to make sure that this community have its own economic independence. We don't want to have to constantly depend on the city or for other people to come in and give us money and then tell us what to do with it. We want to be able to have our own economic independence so that we can control what goes on here, and we can be about how things are going to run in this community, because we'll have the dependence and the knowledge to push forward.
Thank you so much, Ms. McCoy. This is so powerful. When you get a chance to scroll through the messages in the chat, I hope that you will, so that you could see how your words resonated with folks. Red Hook is phenomenal. The spirit in Red Hook is phenomenal. We see you guys pushing through, and we're definitely here to support you. So thank you so much. And thank you to the Red Hook team. Much appreciation always. We have Boulevard coming next up, and we have two young people from Boulevard. So while we're getting our two young folks, Mr. Shanti and Mr. Latrell will play the video from Boulevard.
Boulevard is family. It's all family orientated. No matter what building you're in, we're all family. Boulevard is beautiful. It really is.
This mural, I'll say, like, it expresses like people like having fun, like this neighborhood, like how it was back then, like openness, how kids should be open, play in the park more, not be on the video games, not be inside the house.
That's why the NStat came into place. Try to get the kids to learn the stuff that we did growing up, instead of gang banging and hanging out on the corners and this and that. So we try to give events, and this is our main place here. When we give events, you wouldn't even recognize this area. Last event we had a This Is Us event. We had heated tents. We had people come in to kids, like if you can't talk to your parents, we had therapists there.
a heating room, a warming room. It was really nice. So we try to put that back into the neighborhood.
When I first started the center, it was great. Like, I had a good experience there, and I just started like loving Boulevard. Like, Boulevard felt like home to me. I appreciate everything that the center had done to me. Like, I feel very good in Boulevard now.
Beautiful. Do we have Ashanti and Latrell with us? You guys here? Can you hear me?
Yes.
There we go.
Yes, I'm here.
Good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Good. So let's talk about your project. You guys really, I love the idea that you chose for your project. I've been out to a number of events at Boulevard. I've brought my kids out. You guys have really just created a dope environment for the community. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what issue you had, what problem you were trying to solve, and what you thought the space would do?
A major problem was, that the environment wasn't appealing to the community. So we wanted to create a welcoming space where people felt like they can go and we could conjugate as a community and make people welcome. So that's why when we started, we created that mural. It changed the environment of, where it had graffiti on it to where it had something where it was beautiful and people respect the park more. So, it helped us where we didn't have to do more park cleanups because people respect the environment more.
Another major problem is like we try to keep our community and our kids together. Like we try to have events for the kids most of the time, our youth and our little kids most of the time, so they can feel like they having fun and open. Like you see how we have game night, we had This Is Us program and all that.
Yeah, so I know you guys have a phenomenal engagement coordinator, Kareem. And I know he's done a great job of making sure that young people are connected to this project. So tell me a little bit about how Youth Voice was incorporated in the work that you guys have been doing and why you feel so comfortable, so connected with this team. And just talk about your leadership in this space.
Okay, so basically, you see the moral and green cards like when we was talking and everything. So basically, all of us, we came together. All of us, the kids, the seniors, the mid-age seniors, and us youth. We all came together. We drew on the moral. We try to put everything together, try to see how like Boulevard is, like how fun, like put your creative activities and creative ideas together on the moral, and like make it outstanding to Boulevard. You see how it was just a regular handboard. Nobody was playing on it. Like it was a regular handboard. Now you could just walk in green course and you could just like take a picture or something right there. Not just, it's just a regular handboard. Let's just play basketball. Forget that. Don't mind that. None of that. It's just two sides. Both sides is both drawings, and it's very outstanding, colorful, beautiful, neat, everything.
Very beautiful space. Very beautiful space. And you guys, I hear you saying that you guys wanted it to be reflective of Boulevard, the different people who live there, the culture of Boulevard. Latrell, do you have anything that you want to add to that?
Yes. So Kareem created an environment where the youth, we lead different initiatives that we created. So for example, I thought that our family day was declining in the presence and the atmosphere of how it felt when from when I was younger to when I was 19, 18, 20 years old. So one thing he let me do is create a basketball tournament. So when we created the basketball tournament, it was youth led. He let the youth tell how we felt, what should be done to the basketball court, what we should do for Family Day. So that's why I feel like by him giving us a seat at the table and make real decisions, help empower and change our community.
Thank you. So I hear you guys saying that you were put in the position to be the folks out front on the projects that Boulevard, because it's not an all youth team. There are older, more seasoned adults on the team. But you guys, from my experience, are definitely out front and centered in what's happening. And I feel like that's critical, definitely, to the work that we do. Is there anything that you think that the 219 people that are left on the line should know about young people and your role in creating change in the community?
I just feel that you have to invest in the future. We have to invest in the people of today so we could better tomorrow. So by just continuously investing in the youth and providing us with a seat at the table is going to continue to better our community, because we know what we want for the future. You know, honestly, you know, older people, y'all live y'all experience and y'all know, okay, you know,
that it's our time now. Y'all had your time. It's our time now.
You know, and it's just like continuously a way to get better and improve as a community and as a whole.
Well, thank you guys both so much. Shout out to Boulevard. I'm hoping to be right back where I was with y'all when this is all done. Thank you, Jackie and Latrell, so much. Please keep doing what you're doing. We need you. We need your voice. We need your energy. And I'm hoping that you guys will be the ones sitting in this chair doing this next time. So thank you guys for your time. And this is going to end this session. I hope everyone enjoyed the videos and just getting to witness the residents' hard work. We really definitely value it so much. And I hope one thing that stood out, this is public information, so it's not a secret. These projects were done, you know, with $50,000, some of them with less than that. It takes a small amount of investment to do great things. And I think that we get so stuck in the, where's the money gonna come from? No, we can't do that. That we just, you know, we're stopping ourselves before we even get started. And I think that the residents have shown and proven that with the right energy and enthusiasm and, you know, the people in the community at the table, supporting them, we can get great results. And we've done so much with little, and we can do even more with more, obviously. So thank you to the residents for showing us what's possible. It's your vision that definitely keeps this initiative going. And we, you know, we wouldn't have an initiative without you, because you all are definitely, this is about you and you're carrying us.